Yes, fundamentals of computing. Hello guys, my name is Al Mishael and I'm welcoming all of you to my YouTube channel. In this channel we are going to learn all about the fundamentals of computing, the basics of computing, all through step by step. I welcome every one of you as we go through the computing environment. Now, introduction to computer systems. That is the backbone of computing, and we are going through all the basics of computing one by one. Now we all start by asking ourselves simple questions. What is a computer? What are some of the characteristics of computer? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of computers? Without forgetting the application of computers. All this is what we'll go through this video. Now, on to the first thing. What is a computer? Yes, we can define a computer as an electronic device that has the ability to accept data, that is the input, process it based on the instructions given, and then produce an information as an output. Now, information is very meaningful and can be used in decision making. Now, as we see above, this is the input, and the input is the data, which is meaningless. It cannot be used for decisions. Now, it is fed into a computer. Now, in the computer, we have a processor, which is a CPU, which through various operations converts or transforms the data into meaningful output called information. Now, that will raise a question. What is the difference between data and information? I got your answer. Now, data refers to the raw facts and figures that have no meaning to the user and are fed to the computer for processing. Now, this is the input side of computing. In the computer, processing takes place. Now, what is processing? It is the manipulation of data through a series of actions performed by the CPU. Now, this series of actions include the arithmetic operations and the logical operations. We learn all this in our coming videos, but roughly, arithmetic operations, these are simple calculations like addition, subtraction, differentials, and square roots. Logical operations, these include comparison operations like greater than, less than, or equal. Now, and we also include the and or logic operations. Now, after processing of the data, we'll have an output. Now, this output is what we call information. Information, now we can define it as the already processed data. That is the final product of processing, which is useful and meaningful for decision making to the user. Von Neumann architecture. We are going to learn about the architecture of computer. Now, we have two types of computer, that is the fixed program computer and the stored program computers. Now, through this, we'll get to learn how the computer is made, how the architecture of computer can be seen. Now, fixed program computers, these include the calculators, the ovens, and the washing machines. Why? Because they are programmed specifically for a given function. You cannot program them otherwise. You cannot change their use. Now, stored program computers. These are very flexible computers. They are programmed to carry out many different tasks. Applications are stored in a storage unit called a memory. We'll learn about memory in the broad in our next videos. Now, this concept of stored program computers was introduced by John von Neumann, hence the architecture von Neumann architecture. Now, let's view the von Neumann architecture in depth. The von Neumann architecture is basically the basic structure of computer, also known as the IAS computer. And as we see from the above, it has three main basic units. That's the memory unit, the control unit, and the arithmetic logic unit. Not forgetting the input and output devices. Now, what is a control unit? A CU. A control unit is used to coordinate and control the operations of a computer systems. It handles all processor control signals and directs all input and output flow. In short, or in simple terms, it controls how data moves around the system. ALU, in full, arithmetic logic unit. Now, the arithmetic logic unit is simply the brain part of the CPU. It handles all the logic, bit shifting, and arithmetic operations required by the computer. As we saw before, the logic and the arithmetic operations. Now, just a recap, arithmetic operations are the simple operations such as the addition, subtraction, and comparison, while the logic operations are the OR and AND logic operations. Memory unit. Now, from the word memory, this is used by the computer to hold data temporarily or permanently for processing. And the memory unit, as it's wide, it's divided into two types. There is the primary memory and the secondary memory. Now, the primary memory can also be referred as the internal or volatile memory, while the secondary memory can be referred to the external and non-volatile memory. Now, we learn why the two differences, why the primary and why the secondary, in our coming videos. Stay tuned. Now, input and output devices. That's another component of a computer. Now, input devices. These are used to feed in data, to bring in data and instructions into the computer system for processing. And a good example of an input device includes the mouse, the keyboard, the touch screens, scanners, and microphones. Now, on the opposite side, we have the output devices. Now, outputs, these are used by the computer to communicate or to present information in a usable form to the user. Now, what are some of the output devices? A good example is a printer. Now, for instance, you are typing a letter. When typing a letter, you need an hard copy. Now, for you to produce a hard copy, you use a printer. Now, typing a letter, you use the input device called a keyboard. You'll key in your letters and words. Now, what the monitor you'll be using is an output, because you'll be seeing the words, the letters on the screen. Now, after going through the letter and satisfied, you need to print the hard copy. Now, printing is an output method of getting the letter. Now, other examples include speakers, monitors, and all that. Those are the output devices. Now, after going through the basics of computing, we can't forget to go through the characteristics of a computer. Now, computer computers have a lot of characteristics that make them favorable to use, easy to use. Now, some of the characteristics include the high speed, the accuracy, diligence, versatility, which is the flexible part, storage capabilities, the automation property, and the reliability. Now, let's go through each one of them. High speed. Now, unlike human beings, computers are very high in speed. What do I mean? Computers can perform a given task within a very short time, a fraction of a second, that is a micro or nanosecond. It can perform a large number of tasks in a very short time. Now, compared to human beings, we always get tired and we spend a lot of time even calculating simple calculations. In computing, speed is measured in terms of megahertz, gigahertz, and so on. Accuracy. Accuracy is another good characteristic of computing. Now, computers are error-free, which means they are very accurate. Their degree of accuracy is very high. Now, computers work in gigo basis. What does gigo mean? Gigo mean garbage in, garbage out. Now, if you feed in wrong information to a computer, it will give you the same wrong information as an output. That does not make it inaccurate. Why? Because it processed the wrong information, the wrong data to provide a wrong information. Now, most errors in the computer are always caused by human error. Feeding in wrong data is a human error because we are the ones giving a computer instructions. Diligence. Unlike human nature, computers can continuously carry out the same type of work repeatedly without throwing up errors due to tiresome and boredom. Now, computers don't get tired. They'll work all through on the same type of data, either large or small data, and they'll be accurate. They don't get tired. Now, therefore, computers can work without creating errors. They can perform millions of calculations with the same accuracy without feeling tired. Versatility. Versatility is all about flexibility, which is a very good characteristic too. Now, computers are very flexible in their performance. They can solve problems in various fields, ranging from simple data entry to complex fields such as ticket booking and complex mathematical calculations, and even continuous astronomical observations that are very complex. Storage capability. Now, to store is to reserve, is to contain some information for future use. Now, traditionally, we are used to paperwork, but paperwork is prone to wear and tear. A fire can come up and can burn all your paperwork, and you will have nothing to refer to. Now that's where computers are advantageous, and that's where they come in. Now, computers store large quantity of data in a mass section. This data is easily accessible, and it's stored in large storage devices such as the magnetic disk, magnetic tape, and the optical disk, and other more storage devices. Now, we'll learn about storage in our next videos. Storage capacity of computers is always measured, and it's measured in terms of bytes. Now, we have the kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, and terabytes. Now, we start from the lowest unit of bits to the highest unit of terabytes. and all the conversions are as shown below. We have the 4 bits, which is equivalent to the 1 nibble. Now 8 bits, that is 2 times the 4 bit, is simply the 2 nibble or 1 byte. Now 1 kilobyte is equivalent to 1024 bytes, and 1 megabyte is equivalent to 1024 kilobytes, so on and so forth. Now keep in mind the conversion of memory storage capacity. Automation, from the word automatic. Now computers, these are machines. They can work without human supervision, human intervention. You just need to give them instructions and wait for it to perform its functions and produce a favorable outputs. Now, everything has an advantage and a disadvantage. Same to computers. They have its own advantages and disadvantages. Now, some of the advantages, we have gone through them through the characteristics, that is high speed, of course accuracy, high storage capability, high diligence, very versatile, high reliability, very automatic, and an addition is that they have reduced the paperwork and its cost, and they have also driven through the sharing process of resources. Now nowadays it's very easy to share a resource. What is a resource? A resource is either a software, a hardware. For example, in an office, you cannot install a printer for each and every person in the office. What can you do? You just buy a single network printer, connect it to every user so that they can share it. And to the disadvantages of computing. Now we have the first disadvantage. The first disadvantage of computing is that they have no intelligent quotient, IQ. Computers cannot take any decision by its own. Yes, it all depends on the human intervention. You must produce an instruction to a computer so that it can perform a given function that you want. Now that goes to our second disadvantage, dependency. Yes, it depends on the human instructions to perform a given function. You must give an instruction so that the computer can perform a given function. For example, you feed in 2 numbers, 4 and 6. Now the computer will wait till you give it a command to either sum up the 2 numbers, subtract the 2 numbers, multiply the 2 numbers, divide the 2 numbers, get the equivalent of the 2 numbers. Now that's where dependency comes in as a disadvantage. And to the next point, environment. We all know how delicate computing devices are. Now, computing devices have specific environment strains and conditions. A good example is a dust-free environment. Now, we all know the disadvantage of dust to a computer. It will clog the parts of a computer. For example, a keyboard. If dust accumulates in a computer, it will clog it and the keystrokes will not work. Now, environment is another disadvantage of computer. You must have a good environment for you to install a computing device. No feelings. Now, computers are not like human beings. They have no feelings at all. Now, they cannot make decisions based on feelings or experience. A computer cannot know that you are now tired, or you are now mourning, or you are now happy. It will perform its functions normally. Now, Other disadvantages include the high initial cost, which is very common. Computing devices are very high in cost, and they are also very high in maintaining. Computing devices are prone to attack by computer viruses. We all know that computers have software as part of its components. Now, computer software is prone to attack by viruses. Now, what are viruses? These are malicious softwares that infect computers, and they always spread on computers. Some of them include the adwares, the spywares, the ransomwares, the Trojan horses, and so forth. We'll learn about them in the computing security. Now, hardware and software failure, very common. That is another disadvantage of computing. Now, computers are prone to hardware failure and software failure. For example, a mouse port can fail in a computer tower. Now, a monitor can fail. It can fail due to maybe it will break, maybe it suffers a short, an electric short. Now it will fail, and you will just have to replace it with another one, or replace the broken parts, which is very expensive though. Reduce specialized personnel, very common disadvantage. Now, previously, before the invention of computers, we used to have human power, manpower in offices. Now, but when the computers were invented, it reduced day by day. Manpower reduced day by day, which means computers are replacing manpower in offices, companies, industries, which is very unlucky. Application areas of computers. Now we have various applications of computers. We have the business sector, banking sector, marketing sector, entertainment sector, all covered with us. Now, businesses use computers in to do various things. Now, for example, computers can be used in budgeting. Now, for a company with a lot of income, with a lot of processes to carry out, it's very difficult to do the budgeting at hand. So it's very easy using the various softwares of computers. You can feed in just the data, and you'll be fixed with a good budget that's sensible, that can be used in the company. Now, computing can be used to produce payrolls, calculate the payrolls, and produce them. It can be used in stock and employee database maintenance. It can be used in sales and analysis. And that's it. In banking, for example, the very common banking advantage of computing is the online banking, online accounting, and the introduction of ATM machines. Nowadays, banking is very easy. You can do a bank transaction from the comfort of your house, or you can go to a bank, no lining up in long lines. You just key in the amount in an ATM machine using a debit card, credit card, or whatever card you have. Very easy. Now, education. In education, computers have been very advantageous. Nowadays, you can learn it from the comfort of your bed, comfort of your house. So education is basically reaped an advantage from computing. Now, computing in education can be used to online learning, can be used as a teaching tool, yes, through the video conferences or through all those, can be used in maintaining databases of students, and their performance analysis in schools, which is very common. Now, in healthcare, health is a very key sector in human nature. Now, computers have chipped in and have become very useful in the health sector. Nowadays, it's very easy to keep patients' records just by keying in their information in a patient database. Diagnosing of patients. Diagnosis, this is the process of knowing, the process of collecting data from a patient and identify the cause of his or her illness. Very easy. You just key in the symptoms and the computer will give a brief, detailed analysis of the given symptoms, and it will give a diagnosis to the doctor. Ultrasound, CT scans, and X-rays. These are very common. You just go with a broken arm, and the computer will locate where it's broken for a doctor for easy fixing and or treatment. Now, diagnostic systems. These are computer systems used in healthcare. We have the lab diagnostic systems, the patient monitoring systems, pharma information systems from the pharmaceutical section, the surgical systems used for example, the AI surgical computer system. Now, those are some of the advantageous uses of computers in health system. Now, in military men use computers in very many ways. Some of them include controlling military weapons, for example, the missiles. Military communication, yes, through the use of VHF radios, very high frequency radios. Military men can communicate in their missions. Now, computers can also be used in planning operations and missions in military. Let's go to another wide sector called transport. Now, we have various means of transport: through air, through water using the ships, and land where motor vehicles come in. Now, computers are used in reservation systems for transport, either by air, by land, or by water. You can book a flight using a computer. You can book a trip using a computer. That's through land. All those. Now, another use of computers is in engineering. Engineering is a very broad area. We have the structural engineering, the electronic engineering, the industrial engineering, architectural sector. Now, all those areas require computers in various ways. Now, in structural engineering, you can use a computer to analysis and of stress and strain to design ships, planes, vehicles, and buildings. And for example, in architectural engineering, using the ArchCAD, the common ArchCAD software, you can use it to plan and design buildings and roads. Now, entertainment, a very enjoyable sector. Now, entertainment, computers are very common in entertainment. Nowadays, you can play games using computers, using a mobile phone, using a video console, using a game console, Now, computers are used in movie industry, yes, for production and motion pictures, music videos, television shows, all that. Now, computers can also be used in cartoon animation films, used for entertainment, mostly for children. Computers can also be used in gaming industry. Now we have the PlayStation 5, very common, the Xbox, the Euro Truck simulation models, and all other game simulations. Other applications of computer include communication, that is the exchange of data from one place to another between various users through sending of emails, the internet, and video conferencing. We have marketing. Computers are used in e-commerce, advertisement of various products through the internet. Government functions. The government can use computers in calculation of income taxes, budgeting, voting activities, weather forecasting activities, and census activities. Now, those are some of the applications of computers, and most of them are very common, and we all know the advantages of all those applications. Now, thanks for watching. Our next video will discuss about the main components of computers. I hope to meet you then. Please like, subscribe, and share. Let us spread computing. Bye.